We'll actually get a chance to buy these brilliantly designed sets from talented LEGO fan designers. Some of these are a limited edition type of thing and go up for pre-order very soon, and some you can buy right now. Let's break these down to see which ones you may want to keep an eye on, along with the ones you'll want to start holding money on the side for. Like this absolutely mind-blowing set that comes from the latest round of the Bricklink Designer program. The colors and texture are totally next level here. I mean, check out the variety and patterns on the roof and brick walls, along with these little details nearly everywhere you look. I'm pretty blown away by the architecture design on the left side. It's quite articulate and has that wow factor for sure. And check this out, it folds up to completely transform the overall look and feel. There's no detail left out, even down to the foliage that surrounds the building. When it's unfolded, the level of polish on the inside is amazing. You're truly getting a complete set with a ton of storytelling details and a wide cast of characters. Since LEGO doesn't really modify the Bricklink designs, what we see here is pretty much what we'll get. It's not often we get large-scale seasonal sets, especially for that time of the year. Help us out by hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and I'll keep bringing you more quality LEGO content like this next set that goes up for pre-order soon with limited quantities. I have a feeling it'll sell out rather quickly. We get another high-quality model here, what looks to be a mostly studless design. I love how clean this design looks, along with the colors and signage everywhere that gives it more of a realistic look. The sea life underneath and included speedboat adds even more dimension and elevates this to top-tier level. It's got modular elements to easily get inside, and we're in for a treat once you get in there. There's small touches that paint a scene, like the nautical tools you'd need to keep track of the conditions, along with a spot to relax while looking through a variety of maps. Upstairs, we get a cozy spot to nap between shifts, and I'm a huge fan of these Easter eggs of the motorized lighthouse and ship in a bottle LEGO sets. Moving on, you can pick up this epic scene from the legendary movie Jaws right now, actually. This came from a LEGO idea submission way back in 2022. Not surprisingly, it hit 10,000 votes and LEGO decided to make this a real thing. Building off the concept, they created a diorama that recreates this terrifying moment. Taking a look at what they had to work with, I'd say the final design is rather excellent. The boat design captures everything you'd expect, even down to the Orca logo in the back. The sense of scale for Jaws looks pretty great, along with the brilliant use of building techniques for the waves in the water. You can even prop Jaws up on a stand if you wanted to display these elements separately, which is such a cool feature. It's instantly recognizable, and I'm kinda tempted to pick this up, even though I'm not a huge fan of the movie. Here's another model from the latest round of Bricklink, and it's nice to see this little antique shop make it through. The details on the outside give such a small town feel, from having a ladder leaning against the side for a project that's probably been in work for a while, to birds and butterflies that are attracted to the foliage strewn about. I'm a huge fan of how these awnings pop with these blue colors. Taking a peek into the first floor, we have all the antiques up for display, and this place has it all. We get books, old-timey relics, a chess set, sewing machine, and there's even a record player. And it looks like our shop owner also lives here, so you can tell it's a family-run business, which adds to the storytelling nature of this build. Pretty cool set if you like assembling LEGO buildings, and I'm gonna keep my eye on this one for next year. Recently announced as an Ideas winner, we'll eventually see some version of this Italian Riviera display. Like the Jaws set, it'll likely undergo significant changes, but it's exciting that we're getting a scene based on stunning Italian architecture. The designer also has some impressive brickwork for the pavement, and I hope that translates well to the final model. I also like the three-dimensional ivy climbing up the side along with the yellow flowers. There's a lot of personality in the set. And of course, the Italian shops add to the authenticity. I'm curious to see what LEGO does with this one. I wonder if it'll remain as 3 separate buildings or if they'll incorporate more of the culture into the final design. It would be interesting to do a side-by-side comparison one of these days. Currently in production, this river steamboat will be an interesting addition to the Ideas line. The original designer went with a studless design, and it's pretty massive. It's almost 3 feet long. It looks as though it's been based off a model like this, so we can see how exceptionally well this was made. And I'm curious to see if LEGO will keep this large scale. Amazingly, we also have a modular building that's in production, and I'll get to that in a second. I'm loving the bubble windows that completely surround the structure, and the greenery on the outside ties everything together nicely. Taking a look at the back, you'll notice more beautiful foliage along with a glimpse of the interior. As we can see, the plants get plenty of sunlight, and it's cool how this set comes apart. Hopefully these features make it to the final version, though we should expect some changes. The interior looks amazing, especially from a top-down view where you can see all the different botanical elements. It's interesting to see how it's sort of set up like a museum-like attraction where visitors can admire all the unique plants, and the idea of having different zones to break up the design is clever. While it most likely won't remain modular, it's nice to see that the modular ideas that pop up on the site can eventually turn into real sets. Also recently announced we're getting a set from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And believe it or not, when the original movie came out, this is what a LEGO set looked like. It puts in perspective just how cool our modern sets are. This colorful creation features an interesting cast of characters, and the story becomes real with these details. I mean, there's candy and chocolate everywhere. It's cool that the designer intended to motorize the chocolate waterfall as well. I'm not sure if LEGO would include it in the final model, but it would be impressive if they were able to pull it off. I do wonder which version of Willy Wonka we'll get, and I guess it depends on the rights that LEGO can secure. Either way, if you're a fan of the franchise, you're finally getting something official. From one magical world to another, this awesome Halloween/Christmas set will be out very soon. What started out as a fan designer's idea and gathering 10,000 supporters, it's finally making its way to store shelves. The original creation featured a much larger house in the center and iconic scenes straight from the movie. It's really cool to see Tim Burton's inspirations in LEGO form with those crazy angles throughout the architecture. When comparing it to LEGO's final version, you can see that it's been scaled down quite a bit, but the level of polish has definitely been improved. I love the variation in color that makes everything pop, giving it that perfect Halloween feel, along with the unique designs in the smaller elements. We get a great cast of characters, hidden surprises, and plenty of elements to set up scenes for a display. As someone who loves Halloween-themed sets, it's always nice to add more to the collection. Also coming from Disney, we've got a set that celebrates 100 years. This design came out of a LEGO Ideas Challenge, which is interesting because those designers only get a few weeks to create something. There's tons of nods to Disney's history with Pinocchio, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and many others. LEGO has already released sets celebrating 100 years of Disney, like the Walt Disney Tribute Camera and the Villain Icons collection, so I wonder if this one from the Ideas line would focus more on the protagonists instead. And I'm assuming it'll be for adults because, believe it or not, the other two were as well. From the Bricklink Designer Program, we're getting a creative miniature world that is a continuation from a previous series. Those who were lucky enough to grab this designer's first creation are probably excited to add another to their collection. Like the previous one, this features a colorful display that captures a living world on a smaller scale. Even though it's not something that I'm personally into, I can still appreciate the expert level design and creativity behind this. I love the colors, the level of detail, and imagination that's involved in this world. It feels like something that could have officially come from LEGO, with everything from the interior details to how well all of the elements fit together. It just feels complete. And it's pretty cool that this designer's idea is evolving into its own theme. It's a solid success story. Scaling things back up, this camping adventure will be available for pre-order soon. I always appreciate when we get to choose from a variety of large and small sets, letting us pick what works best for our budget. I think this camping adventure would pair nicely if you happen to have the A-frame cabin from LEGO. It's super small, but it's designed very well. Given its size and lower price point, I wouldn't be surprised if it sells out quickly. Another small creation just made its way to the finalists in the latest round of Bricklink, and I absolutely love this popcorn wagon. It's not only designed well with its colors and impressive techniques for something at this scale, but it also has so much character packed into it. I really appreciate the level of quality, and the fact that you can turn a knob on the side to make the popcorn pop is such a neat touch. It even comes with a cool little lamppost area that I think would pair nicely with modular buildings. I'm pretty stoked that this became a finalist. It's definitely another one that will sell rather quickly. Currently in production, this little mechanical machine pops out minifigure prizes. I'm sure many of us remember asking for quarters as a kid to get prizes from these types of machines, and what an awesome idea to make minifigures the prizes. And I find it absolutely fascinating that this is a fully functional model. The engineering that's involved is just so impressive. I'm assuming LEGO will keep the idea mostly intact. They might change the look of the machine a bit and maybe add some stickers to enhance the overall presentation, but they're definitely keeping the minifigures. I think this would be pretty neat to display and let your visitors take a minifigure home, of course, if you're willing to part ways with them. This famous gremlin will eventually make its way to the LEGO store. From an 80s challenge that was stacked with memories, this cute little thing that terrified me as a kid was designed very well. It includes an additional outfit, and it seems to be fairly accurate when we compare it to the movie. I wonder if LEGO will add a small little scene or a display piece to be included with this. Either way, I could see some nostalgic holiday fans picking this up quickly. This design is massive and has tons of scenes from the movie. I haven't seen this in forever, but I can instantly see the scenes, and I'm sure LEGO will make sure to include recognizable elements. If I were to guess, they would probably bring down the size considerably and maybe have a handful of scenes separated out. Kudos to this designer for their ambition and inspiration from such a classic film. This Lost City will be up for pre-order very soon. It sorta has an Indiana Jones sense of adventure with these beautiful colors and design work, and it kinda reminds me a bit of the Lord of the Rings Rivendell set, just very slightly. The build itself looks like it would be fun and challenging, and because of the unique story, this could be neat to throw on some adventure movies while you build it and put it up for display. Also up for pre-order soon from Bricklink, this unique castle has a few features that make it stand out. The bridge connecting the two buildings is something that I haven't really come across in medieval designs and makes this build even more impressive. I also love the zip line running across the top of the buildings, which matches this Robin Hood theme quite well. And in my opinion, castles are a lot of fun to build. They have tons of nostalgia if you grew up with LEGO, and it'll be interesting to see how this one sells here soon. Showing the Pirates theme some love, we're getting this gigantic display later down the road. It's hitting close to 4,000 pieces, which is a lot if you haven't built too many LEGO sets. And get this, it's almost 3 feet wide. I'm not sure, and I could be wrong, but this might be one of the largest pirate sets to be produced. And this setting looks awesome. It would pair up nicely with the Barracuda base set or even the El Dorado Fortress. This won't be really modified that much, if at all, so we are getting a high level of craftsmanship and brilliant design. Plenty of scenes to put together if you have the space for it, and if you want to get this one along with the Transylvania Castle from earlier, it's definitely time to save up. They'll both be up for pre-order at the same time. And if you're into holiday stuff, make sure you pre-order this one before it disappears. With stellar design, the level of details are pretty impressive with the wintry setting, decorative elements, and industrial piping. In contrast to some of the models that we've seen, this one is fully enclosed on all sides, as we can see from the back here. But the magic is on the inside with everything that's included. The chocolate is produced here in the lower levels with all of these impressive elements, and as we make our way up, it's all prepared in the kitchen and chocolatiers room until it makes its way to the guests in the tasting area. This is an amazing holiday model that I can see selling very quickly if it's reasonably priced. LEGO's Winter Village collection seems to do pretty well, as I can vouch for the ones that I've collected over the years, and this would be such a nice addition. It's the perfect time to start thinking through which one of these you want to pick up, but make sure you get the Bricklink ones during their short pre-order window, otherwise you won't get another chance.